Hey guys, what's going on? KiwiTM, and if you can't tell by my voice, I'm insanely sick right now, so I'm just gonna have a short episode for you guys. First thing, I want to address the mistakes last week. I didn't realize there was two mistakes in the battle between Hutch and Shadow and Cameron and whoever he played. I'm sorry, I forget. But records have been altered, as you can see by this, and you will see the new records in the next week's slide. And just to go over quickly, we have me beat for the first battle of week 4, me being the only one to vote for TJ, who did unfortunately lose to the Aussie Kangaskhan's, which everyone else voted for. And then next week it's the same concept with Hutch voting for the Denver Numbers and being the only one to lose, as everyone else voted for the Utah Hoots, who did indeed win. Next week we do see the ASL YouTube channel and the Utah Hoots both vote for the Phoenix Flygons, as they do unfortunately, quote unquote, if you're a Phoenix Flygons fan, lose to the Houston Hoopas. Fortunately, if you're a Houston Hoopa fan, that's good. And then next week we have the. Sorry if you hear like pauses in between. I'm just catching my breath. I can barely talk, and it's can't breathe through my nose. So life's tough right now. But next week we have the London Lapras versus the Hartford Whalers, and Gran being the only one to vote for the Hartford Whalers, who did indeed lose to the London Lapras. And then the next battle, we have the Portland Timbers against the Arcane Arcanines, with everybody voting for Hutch, who did indeed beat Ian, aka Ulterior Motives, aka Weirdo 451. I don't know. And so we have a clear board right there. And next week we have a little bit of an upset, as we see Malone being the only person to vote for himself. And he did indeed beat Brad, who everyone else voted for, which is kind of crazy. The battle of the St. Louis teams was quite wild. I'm really happy that I got to see that, even though I got the pick 'em wrong. That was still an insanely fun battle just to watch. So really glad to see such a good battle. And next week we have a 50-50 split between the Washington Willards and Shadow and his PC Barcelona, aka soccer team. And Shadow did end up beating the Washington Willards, which Malone, EN, not Ian, EN, excellent name, and the ASL channel. Did I say YouTube channel before for Phoenix Flygons? My mistake. The ASL server voting for the Washington Willards, who did indeed lose. And as we see, the records are fixed from last week. I once again apologize for the mistake I made last week. So yeah, and moving on to next week. This is the matchups. We have the Slow Bohemians versus the Utah Hoots, the Aussie Kangaskhan's versus the Houston Hoopas, the Denver Numbers versus the Hartford Whalers, Phoenix Flygons versus Hutch and his Portland Timbers. I always say Hutch with his team name because Hutch is literally my boss. So if you're wondering why that's a thing, it's because that's a thing. We have the London Lapras versus the St. Louis Swablues. Almost forgot Mini Alteria's name. Oh yeah, I just realized that Ian, aka, where's his name? The Arcane Arcanines over here is Big Altaria, and Malone with his St. Louis Swablues is Little Altaria. Illuminati confirmed. Anyway, after the London versus St. Louis battle, St. Louis Swablues battle, we have the Arcane Arcanines versus the Washington Whalers battle. And then lastly, we have the St. Louis Samurats versus the PC Barcelona. And so, going on back to Slow Bohemians versus the Utah Hoots, we have everyone voting for the Slow Bohemians except for Susie, because he does own the Utah Hoots and is voting for himself. So good on him for having that self-confidence. And the next week we have everyone besides me voting for the Aussie Kangaskhan's. And I picked AZ this matchup because I want to stand out and be a little special, because Mommy always says I'm special. Okay, so next week we have the Denver Numbers against the Hartford Whalers. And everyone, it's another clear board. We have that 2 battles in a row on the pick'em doc, as you can see. Everyone pick up. Everyone picking the Hartford Whalers over the Denver Numbers. And the next week we have everyone picking Hutch and his Portland Timbers over the Phoenix Flygons. And then I did this last week too. I kept saying the week after that for every battle, when in reality it's all week 5. So I would address one battle, such as this battle, and I would say the week after that, and that's another mistake I caught on. Grant caught on to that and mentioned it to me, so if that confused you, I'm sorry, my mistake. But the battle after that, I'm going to say the battle after that, even though it might happen, like the battle between London St. Louis Swablues might happen before Phoenix Wildcats and Portland, but just the way it's listed on the doc, I'm going to be saying battle after that, just to clear up any confusion for future weeks. So we have Malone being the only one to vote for the St. Louis Swablues against the London Rapids, and hey, the same thing happened last week where Malone was the only one to vote for himself, and he ended up being the only person to get it right because he won. So maybe we'll see that again this week. Maybe we'll see the majority be right this time around. Next week we have the Aussie Kangaskhan's being the only team to vote for the Washington Whalers in their matchup against the Arcane Arcanines, as everyone else does indeed vote for the Arcane Arcanines. And lastly, we have the St. Louis Samurats against PC Barcelona, and Malone voting for PC Barcelona, who is coming off, I believe, a win last week. Let me just double check. Yeah. So he's kind of on a, maybe getting some momentum going, so Malone's going to ride on that momentum with him. And as for everyone else, we're going to vote for the St. Louis Samurats. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry I'm really sick if you can't tell. So it's a little like just less fun, if you will, or memey. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you.